When World War II broke out in September 1939, the British government feared the worst, that German bombers would soon rain destruction upon major cities, killing thousands of civilians. To protect the most vulnerable, children, Britain launched one of the largest mass evacuations in history. Codenamed Operation Pied Piper, it relocated more than 1.5 million people, including children, mothers with infants, teachers, and disabled individuals, from urban centers to the relative safety of the countryside. It was a bold and emotional gamble, a wartime necessity that reshaped the lives of millions of families. Why evacuate? The threat from the skies. Britain had learned harsh lessons from World War I, when German airships bombed London. With Hitler's Luftwaffe now capable of launching massive air raids, the government feared that bombing could cause up to 1 million civilian casualties in the first few weeks of war. Cities like London, Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, Glasgow, and Portsmouth were all seen as likely targets. In response, the British government organized a preemptive evacuation plan. The goal: remove children and other vulnerable groups from the danger zones before bombs began to fall. The launch of Operation Pied Piper. On September 1, 1939, 2 days before Britain declared war on Germany, the evacuation began. Within the first few days, over 800,000 schoolchildren were evacuated. 500,000 mothers with children under 5, along with pregnant women and the disabled, were also moved. They were sent to reception areas in rural towns and villages across England, Scotland, and Wales. Evacuees traveled by train, bus, and even boat, each child wearing a name tag, carrying a small suitcase and holding a gas mask. The image of long lines of children, clutching their belongings and waving goodbye to anxious parents, became one of the most iconic and emotional symbols of the war. Life in the countryside, new worlds, new challenges. For many evacuees, rural life was a complete shock. Children from poor, urban backgrounds had never seen farm animals, indoor toilets, or rolling countryside. Some were welcomed warmly by kind hosts. Others faced neglect, abuse, or class prejudice. Cultural and regional differences often led to friction between city children and country families. Despite hardships, evacuation also brought unexpected benefits: better nutrition, cleaner air, and new educational opportunities. Return in the Blitz. When the expected bombing didn't immediately materialize in 1939, many parents brought their children back home. But when the Blitz began in September 1940, with nightly air raids on London and other cities, a second wave of evacuations was carried out. This time, the horror of bombing raids made families more willing to part with their children. Thousands of children were again sent to the countryside, where they remained for months or years. Evacuations abroad, overseas reception. In 1940, the government also organized limited evacuations overseas through the Children's Overseas Reception Board, CORB. British children were sent to countries like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, the United States. However, this program was short-lived. After the sinking of the SS City of Benares by a German U-boat in September 1940, which killed 77 evacuated children, the government ended overseas evacuations. Emotional toll and family struggles. Evacuation separated families for years, leaving deep emotional scars. Children struggled with homesickness, confusion, and identity loss. Parents lived with constant worry about their children's safety and well-being. Reunions were often difficult. Children had changed, and some felt more at home with their foster families than their birth parents. Despite these challenges, many evacuees formed lifelong bonds with their host families, and the experience left lasting impressions on British society. Legacy of Operation Pied Piper. Operation Pied Piper showed the scale and complexity of civilian mobilization during total war. It was a logistical triumph, involving hundreds of thousands of organizers, teachers, and volunteers. Its legacy includes greater government involvement in child welfare and education, public awareness of poverty and social inequality in urban areas, enduring personal stories of courage, resilience, and adaptation. Operation Pied Piper was one of the most extraordinary social experiments of the 20th century. At a time of fear and uncertainty, it sought to protect the future by sending it away. For the children who left home, the journey was often bewildering and traumatic, but it also revealed the strength of a nation determined to endure, no matter the cost.